Hello everyone, Farah Hanoun here, and I'm joined by Leon Edwards, who headlines UFC Singapore on June 23rd versus Cowboy Cerrone. What's up, Leon? How's your day been today? How's it going so far?
No, it's been good. Just finished training, so in between sessions at the moment, so chilling for a bit.
Awesome. Well, we're getting closer to your big fight. You, of course, take on Cowboy Cerrone in the main event of UFC Singapore. At this point, a couple weeks out, do you start toning things down in terms of training? I mean, how do you usually go about training camps?
Just some more high intensity and lower reps, so lower rounds, and we're still working hard.
Awesome. And you now train at Team Renegade with Tom Breeze, your brother Fabian, and a lot of other guys. What's the move been like? How are you liking it over there?
Yeah, for training at Renegade, it's amazing. It's basically like the same training partners, the same coaches. Now we all move over to Renegade, so now we've got more training partners over there. So it's worked out great for this camp. So I'm looking forward to going out there and performing.
Great. And Tom returned to action a couple weeks ago and he scored a great finish over Dan Kelly. He's such a quality fighter. I mean, it must be great to train with someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. Going out there, dominate Dan Kelly, which was the tough veteran of the sport. So I've been training Tom now for quite a few years.
Yep.
So it's good to now we're in the same gym together every day, and it feels good.
And another guy training with you, Aaron Chalmers, who of course gets a lot of stick and criticism. He's popular. He was on Geordie Shore, but he's really shining. And you're someone who's with him at the gym and seeing him put the work in.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron's where all the tickets coming from. I think, like you said, it goes from Geordie Shore, from Raz TV. The fans, they're not loving him at the moment, but. Yeah. He's going out there, he's performing, he works hard at the gym, so it is what it is.
Absolutely. And all right, let's talk about your fight. Cowboy Cerrone, main event. Finally, the name opponent you were looking for, but in Singapore, not the place I would have expected this fight to be in. Were you surprised when they offered it in Singapore?
Well, I've been calling for Cerrone now for a few fights. So when I got the call from Sean Shelby, and it said Cowboy Cerrone main event. Then it said Singapore. I thought, why not? You know what I mean?
Yep.
The octagon's octagon, so wherever the fight is, I don't care. You know what I mean? So it would have been better to have in my backyard in Birmingham. But Singapore will do.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the Asian fans is that they do really appreciate the sport, the fighters. You feel kind of an extra level of respect towards everyone. Have you noticed that when watching past events held in Asia? Like no wooing or booing, or at least not as much as everywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. I think Asia, the more like I said, there's no booing. They respect all the athletes. I think just respect the martial arts side of it, which in other places they can't just pick their own who they like, who they don't like.
Yeah.
But I think in Asia, just support the fight just in general. So I'm looking forward to going out there and experiencing the fans for myself and seeing how it goes out there. But it'd be good.
For sure, and you were in Singapore not too long ago with Cowboy doing promo. How was that whole experience getting to do that extra media? Did you enjoy it and all the duties that come with being in the main event?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good to go out there early as well, just to get a feel of the place and the feel of the travelling and the weather and everything. So I did enjoy the media out there and get to see Cerrone in person and size them up from there. So
yeah,
it was good to go out there and just experience the place before going out there to compete.
And you and Cowboy seem pretty friendly. I mean, he's usually like that towards his opponents. Does something like that throw you off? Not that you're usually the type that will necessarily do something over the top like we see some of these guys doing, but you guys were pretty friendly when you were there, right?
Not really.
Okay.
We've seen each other like once or twice, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's about it, really. We're really friendly. I'm not really a friendly type of guy with my opponents.
Yep.
I think with Cerrone, he needs that friendly vibe to perform. But with me, I don't care. And I'm not really friends with my opponents.
I see, I see. And let's talk about the matchup. He was coming off of 2 losses in a row until he bounced back with a nice win and finished over Yancy Medeiros. What Cowboy are you expecting? Do you feel like he's on the decline, or is that a dangerous way to think?
I feel like sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't show up. So I'm preparing for the best Cowboy there is, you know. So whatever comes of in a few weeks, I'll be ready. Uh, I don't know what to expect, but like I said, I'm preparing for the best Cowboy ever. You know what I mean? So let's just see what comes of in a few weeks, and I'm ready to go.
And stylistically, how do you see this fight playing out? You can strike well, you can grapple really well. He can strike well. He's incorporated some more grappling recently into his game. So how do you see this fight playing out?
I feel I'll march across the octagon and I'll put pressure on him from the belly. I feel I'll stop him early. In the fight, I think he's counting on me bringing into the later rounds and picking in the pace. He's a lightweight moving up to welterweight. I'm much bigger than him. I hit way harder than him, so I'm looking forward to the matchup.
And a couple more questions before I let you go. Darren Till comes up quite often when you get interviewed for multiple reasons. He's in your weight class. You guys have a common opponent now in Cowboy. First of all, what did you think of his performance versus Wonderboy?
I said I was cage side for that fight.
Yeah.
I thought the fight lost it. You weren't where I thought you would be.
Mm.
None of them want to commit to nothing, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think Darren did what he needed to do to win the fight, so fair play to him, and it is what it is.
I see, I see. And you fought the majority of your career in Europe. If it were up to you, would you keep it that way? I know you'd love for the UFC to go back to Birmingham. We talked about that a little earlier, but it's been forever. Last, I think it was like UFC 138, I believe, back in 2011. So is that something you'd be pushing for?
Yeah, 100%. I'm pushing for a top 10 guys to get back to my hometown and bring the UFC back to Birmingham, England. And that'd be amazing to headline the bill. I remember going to watch it when I was a kid. So it'd be good for me and one of my dreams to bring UFC back to Birmingham. Have me on there, Tom on there, hopefully my brother can make 100%.
Definitely. All right, Leon, thank you so much for your time. One last thing before I let you go. How do you envision this fight going? What's your prediction?
My prediction is stoppage. I'm going to finish him. So I feel like I need to finish this fight to prove my case that I deserve a top 10 guy, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
I'm going to put him away.
Absolutely. Leon, thank you so much. Sorry for it cutting up quite a bit. I appreciate you taking the time in between sessions, and best of luck in Singapore.
Thank you.